Hello and welcome to the Tea Party Hatter channel for a review of The Good Witch Season 7, the final season, or as we're going to call it here, the Woke Witch. Good Witch is on Hallmark Channel, and I've watched all the movies and I watched the TV show from the beginning to the end. The TV show went through a lot of changes over the years, casting issues mostly. And the guy that was playing her husband originally, he got some other show and he couldn't do both, so they fired him, he quit, whatever the case may be. They brought on a new guy who's a doctor, and he had a son, and then she had her daughter, and all those dynamics just kept changing season after season because it was on for so very long. Anyways, you get to season 7, and I think I mentioned it's Hallmark. This really matters because season 7 of The Good Woke Witch is very foreboding of what to expect for the Christmas movies. And if you are a Christmas movie fanatic, like some people on this channel, then it matters to you a lot because 2 years ago, there were a few woke Christmas specials. Last year, there were a bunch of woke Christmas specials, and Hallmark had their whole controversy for not being woke. And it looks like if this show is any sign of what's to come. So I seen an interview in Los Angeles with the actress who created the show and starred in the show. And she was talking about she wanted to finish the show because she's been doing it for over a decade, including the movies. And, she just wanted to put the character to rest. I don't know if that's true or if she didn't like the way they made her go woke. Because, I should say the show. Because, again, Hallmark is all about everybody eventually gets along and it's, perfect harmony, etc. And then in this season, we get introduced, I think in episode 2, to the new sister that showed up, or cousin, whatever she is, from last season. All of a sudden we find out, oh, she likes girls. Oh, check the first box. This is the Hallmark Channel. What's going on with that? Again, remember the controversy last Christmas. Okay, so she likes girls. Check box. Oh, she likes a girl of kinda color? Because the girl of kinda color has green eyes and white skin and Rachel Dolezal hair. So, I don't know. Welcome to the era where we live, where your skin color isn't based on your skin color anymore. And I'm not talking about Rachel Dolezal. I'm talking about countless people that I'm like, if somebody didn't tell you that they were of African descent, you would never know. And up until recently, it wouldn't matter because people were people. You were an American and there was this, or you were English, whatever the case may be. Nobody cared. And now all of a sudden, we have to care. Vomit, barf. Now, in The Good Witch, so you've got that. Okay, now here's the thing. I do not watch The Good Witch for wokeism. I don't watch the Hallmark Channel for wokeism. I don't watch anything with wokeism because I don't like wokeism, because it has nothing to do with the story. And here's the way this plays out. So in season 2, we're introduced to her liking girls. Episode 2. Then you get to episode 3, and I'm like, they're going to milk this and make it really sappy. And they did. Okay, granted, Hallmark's always really sappy, but it was awkward, sappy. Then you get into episode 4 and I'm like, they're really going to just keep this going, aren't they? Yes, they are. And here's what I contemplated and discovered. And this is more evidence that it was woke. I'm like, I don't like these scenes. And I noticed in the second episode when they started doing the romance thing, and in episode 3 when they started doing the romance thing, their storyline has nothing to do with any of the other storylines. Nothing. So, evidence that it's woke besides the obvious that it's woke. Because one of the biggest problems with woke is it doesn't fit the story. It's shoved in to get those check marks. And once I figured out this has nothing to do with the story, and I don't like this being in my show, I just hit the fast forward button through there every time they would start doing their little dalliance. bam, you just hit the fast forward button, and guess what? I didn't have to watch the scenes I didn't like, and it didn't affect the story one bit. More evidence that it's woke. Because if it weren't woke and it was relative to the story and not shoved in, I couldn't do that because I'd need to know, oh, how does this affect this relationship with this person and this one? No, it didn't. It was just shoved in. And that's another reason I am suspect of the fact that she wanted to quit the show. I think she quit the show because they were forcing her to do things in the show that she hadn't been forced to do before that had nothing to do with the story arcs. And as far as the other stuff goes, it's a mushy show. It's been a mushy show since the beginning. It's never been like the greatest of entertainment. It's kind of fun. The magic stuff at the beginning in the movies in the early seasons was far more entertaining and stronger than later on. They got rid of the villain who was the mayor and made her into the best friend and all this other stuff. So, I mean, shows have their coming and going of arcs, so she could have wanted to get rid of it in all legitimacy, but it just seems suspicious with the way it's going out, because to go out on such a woke stream compared to everything that was on Hallmark Channel before last year, it's just, what a sad ending. What a very sad ending. And the final episode, to close out the show, ends with, like, that really doesn't feel like an ending at all. And one might guess if they all get lonely for a paycheck in the near future, that they set it up so they could do another movie, not the TV show, like Signed, Sealed, Delivered. Wow, I missed the series of movies and TV shows, but what you gonna do? And they set it up so that they could come back and do a movie to show all of the different adventures that they sent them off on in the very last episode. The really surprising thing, now it's probably because of the COVID rules, but they didn't bring back the kids for the last episode. They did have one, like, 3-second spot at the end of one of the episodes with the daughter, and I'm wondering if that was just, it was too tricky to get him on the set. Because she did talk a lot about, in the interview, on how the COVID rules were brutal, that they had to test a bazillion times before they could kiss and all this other stuff, and she's like, ugh. Yeah, doesn't look like that's going anywhere anytime soon either. So anyways, there's my review of The Good Witch. Now you're thinking, oh, well, why did I do this review and I haven't done the review of any of the others? Because I didn't like it going woke. I really, really didn't like it going woke. And yeah, so I'm doing a review just to go, I wish it wouldn't have gone woke. Didn't like having to use that fast forward button in a show that I've stuck with all this time, even when I know it was mushy gushy. Alright, that's it. We will see you. Oh, thank you very much for watching, and we will see you in the future.